What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Monday Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk about topics that happened over the last week relating to the scale RC world. So let's jump into this week's topics. First one I want to talk about is a release from Force RC called the Hammer Jaw Rock Bouncer. This car is supposed to be kind of like a competitor to something like the Axial Wraith, I would say. It's got a very similar sized axle. It's got almost the exact same wheels that you can get on an Axial Yeti, and the tires are a very close copy to something like you'll find on the Axial Bomber. However, the chassis is not a tube chassis, it's a flat plate TVP style chassis or twin vertical plate. And then it's got a topper that kind of hinges back. Looking into this thing a little bit more, I thought I remembered this, but this is basically just a rebrand of a different car that's been out for around a year. Now, it's a really low cost car. It's like $199 or something around that price range. Overall, you're getting what you're paying for. It's something to put on the shelves for customers to buy cheap. Nothing on it's going to be overly high quality or anything like that. But if you're looking for a cheap car, this is going to fit that bill. While not RC, over the last week, the dates for the King of the Hammers 2019 race were announced, and this year they're going to start February 1st and run for about a week. So if you're looking to get out to Johnson Valley for that, or just want to mark your calendars down for when you're going to watch it, I'll put the links for all the information you need in the description below. For those of you who might be monster truck fans, there's a company called Rogue RC Elements, and he's been doing low production run, but super high quality, really intricate, nice stuff for a long time. Over the last week, he announced that he's going to be doing a run of 100 sets of wheels for the Clod Buster. Now, these are a beadlock style wheel with a lot of detail, look really good. But like I said, there's only 100 planned to be made. If you're interested in a set, I'll put the links in the description below as well. Over the last week, the Traxxas long arm kit is finally hitting shelves. Now, for those of you who may be more familiar with the full-size world and what a long arm kit is actually usually referred to, do not get this confused. This is not a long arm kit like you may have seen for a Jeep or other off-road rig before. This is basically a fancy lift kit. Now, that's probably going to appeal to a lot of Traxxas fans because we see a lot of really weird builds with those TRX4s. This kit is showing a retail of $175. It looks like street price is landing around that $150 range. Personally, as a performance standpoint goes, this is not a kit that I would really ever consider. It takes the TRX4, which has already got a higher center of gravity than most trucks, and basically just keeps raising it up in the air. For their market though, and for the people that are building a lot of these Traxxas cars without really looking into what performs the best, probably going to sell pretty well. Pitbull, normally known for their tires, released a set of bumpers this weekend, licensed by Hauk. Those guys are a specialty full-size shop. I believe they also had a reality show. But nonetheless, Pitbull is releasing a set of bumpers from them. However, it's hard to tell and haven't got an answer from any of the posts that I've seen. These look like they're 3D printed, which kind of surprises me from a company like Pitbull. I thought they would have done something more production-oriented and stronger rather than just a 3D printed part. But we'll see exactly what information comes of that before too long. Like I said, there's limited information on these, but the information that I can find, I'll post below. Over the past couple months, there's been some pictures and discussion about a completely knocked off Tamiya Bruiser. This is basically a complete reproduction of the original or of the re-release, one or the other. And I don't know exactly all the details. I'm not like a vintage Tamiya collector. I've never owned a full Tamiya Bruiser. But this one, from what some of the guys are saying who are owners and collectors of the vintage stuff, that this looks very similar. Now, the Tamiya Bruisers and the re-releases, they're all very expensive, around $1,000, give or take, 10%. But this one's being offered, it looks like, for around $300. But again, it's a knockoff and it's causing all kinds of discussion. Some people are saying, well, they designed this in the 80s and they should have recouped that. The price should have come down. How long do we have to wait before this can be reproduced by somebody else, and all of these different things. Of course, the knockoff conversations always go round and round and round. It always brings in the moral argument of it's somebody else's work, they're knocking it off. And then the people who don't care about that side and are just saying it's $300, this one's $900, I'm gonna buy a $300 one. No matter what, you're never gonna have everyone on the same page. This one being an exact copy with even the old school tech on the 3-speed. They're probably going after the people who wanted that truck but couldn't buy it at the time. It's an interesting choice to knock off that vehicle versus something more modern, but of course we all know that vintage Tamiya collectors are everywhere. However, are they interested in knockoffs? Speaking of Tamiya and my obsession with dancing riders, there is a ton of aftermarket parts starting to roll out for the dancing riders. I couldn't be more excited. From crazy looking bodies to hard parts, for durability and things like that. All kinds of stuff is popping up. I'm excited. Picked up another one. Really looking forward to modding a couple and leaving one stock for our local racing. Last week I saw the carbon fiber or graphite chassis release. This week I saw some steering components as well as an interesting delivery style vehicle body for the Dancing Rider. And I also finished my first print of my custom Dancing Rider chassis. I've got a couple of changes to make on that before I send it off for its first official test print, but it's making progress as well. And lastly, this weekend was Horizon Fest. That happens in Illinois, and it's air and trail and bashers and all kinds of stuff. They had full-size monster trucks out there, the whole deal. Really looked like they put on a good event. Looks like it was much bigger than last year. Looks like for those guys in the Midwest, if you're looking for a good event to go to, probably something to look at for next year. But there was something just so bizarre this year about it, and that was the fact that I kept seeing posts on the Tower Hobbies page on social media about Horizon Fest. And being in the hobby for quite a while, not as long as many people, but being in it for a while, it just seems so weird for me to see some of these things on social media. And it's just this, I obviously know what happened with one buying the other, but I just can't get past this mental wall that I have about seeing some of these things on this brand versus used to only be on this brand. It's not an issue, it's just I can't get past how weird it feels for me to see Axial stuff being posted on Horizon's pages and Horizon Fest being posted on the Tower Hobbies page. It's just bizarre for me. I don't know if it kind of takes anyone a step back like it does me when I see that, but I just don't know how long it's going to take for me to get over that. But with that, guys, it's been a great week of news. Hopefully you guys have an awesome week coming up. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not already, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.